Hi there everyone, Lars here from Camille's Harem, here today with 5 common writing problems that novice writers face, along with 5 guaranteed solutions to help you overcome those problems when you encounter them. All of this brought to you by Camille's Harem, not just a podcast for novice writers by novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers, because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends. And let's just dive right on into this. Let's look at problem number 1. This one is something I hear all the time from new authors, and it's one of those things that plenty of other authors have talked about before, and yet it just seems like it's always there. No one yet has a solution to overcome this greatest of all problems, writer's block. Yep, that moment where you just sit down, you look at your story, and like, I have no idea what I'm going to write. What was I even doing? What was I even thinking? I don't know what to do. I'm looking at all my notes and nothing's coming together. Yeah, you just hit that wall. Well, writer's block is actually really simple to solve. Here's the solution. Ask questions. Now then, you might be thinking, wait a second. If I'm experiencing writer's block, I'm asking the question, what am I doing? How am I going to get the story going? What was I even thinking? What am I even doing? Those are the wrong questions. Yes, there are such things as wrong questions. Wrong questions for the wrong situation. What you should do, and this has always worked, guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed for every single person that I have given this advice to, get away from your story, go out into the world, and ask some questions. Go on a walk, go on a drive, go grab a book. There's so many things that you can do that get yourself away from your desk, away from your computer, away from your story, and just ask some questions. Like, why does the sunset look so colorful today? Where are those ants going right now? I wonder what those birds over there are doing. Why is the tide coming in at this particular hour? What is the last digit in pi? Why do we even call it pi? There's so many questions that you can go and you can ask yourself. And the thing is that asking these questions, asking questions of like, what kind of food sounds really good right now? I'm going to go and I'm going to experiment with some foods. What are some flavors that are going to go well together? What about pie? Both the edible pie and the number pie. What are those ants doing? The sunset, the ocean. What book do I want to read? Why does this movie work and this other one doesn't? Asking yourself any one of these questions that have nothing to do with your story, get your creative juices flowing. It gets you thinking. Writer's block is just essentially when you've been dealing with something for so long that for whatever reason your brain just develops this clog of, I can't handle this anymore. It's like eating pizza one too many times. Pizza is fantastic. Your favorite pizza is delicious. Yet if you eat it way too often, you begin to get sick of it and you might get backed up a little. It's the same thing when you're writing your story. You can absolutely 100% love your story, yet at a certain point it's like eating too much of your favorite pizza. You just get sick of it and you feel a little bit sick, and so you need something to shake things up. Going out into the world and asking questions is a great way of keeping your creativity and your mind alive, healthy, and flowing, while not overtaxing yourself enough so that way when you come back to sit down for your story that you feel too tired to tackle it again. So go out into the world, ask questions. That is how you overcome writer's block. Writing problem number 2, the lack of writing motivation. We've all been there, we've all felt it when you just feel drained of all energy, of all motivation, and you don't want to write anymore, you want to take a break. Well, there's the problem. When you start taking a break from writing, it's really easy for that break to lengthen from a day, to 2 days, to a week, to a month, to a year, and you have all of these great ideas in the meantime that are just building up. You're like, I just don't feel like writing today. And the next thing you know, it's been weeks, if not months, since you last wrote anything. And that makes people just feel embarrassed and self-conscious. It makes them question if they are really good enough to write their story. They begin to wonder if their story's good enough to be written. And that kills your motivation even further. So how can you overcome a lack of motivation when it hits? Because it's going to hit all of us at some point or another, and it's going to hit us multiple times. The solution is this. write. Yes, right. I don't care how unmotivated you feel. It's the same thing like working out. If you skip a day at the gym, it becomes very easy to justify skipping another day at the gym. And before you know it, you're no longer going to the gym. If you want to have a good, healthy workout regimen, if you want to be able to keep yourself constantly fit throughout the year, you have to work at it. There are no shortcuts. The same thing with writing. If you do not want to lose writing motivation, you have to write every day. Now, how can you do this, especially when you're like, I just don't feel like writing my main story right now? Well, I have a solution to that. When you don't feel like writing your main story, write something else. This is where having actually a few works in progress can be really good. This is where you say, you know what, I have this fan fiction idea, or I have this short story idea, or I have an idea for a story that I haven't actually written down. You know what, on a day where you do not feel like writing your main story, sit down, write a little bit of fan fiction, write down some notes, write down something, get something written down. Because if you go for a day without writing, it becomes very easy to justify the next day when you don't write anything either. And before you know it, it's been a couple of days, it's been a couple of weeks, it's been a couple of months. Write every day. Now, this conveniently takes me to the third problem that a lot of novice authors have, juggling too many projects at the same time. Oh, the dreaded whips, the works in progress. Everyone's got tons of them and none of them are getting done. Well, it ties in a little bit to what I said for the last problem, write every day. And if you have multiple works in progress, well, you know what? Split up the work. That'll actually help you out a whole lot. You say, you know what, on one day, I'm going to focus on this story. I'm going to write a little bit for this story. On this day, I'm going to write a little bit right here. And even if you have like a main story that you're really motivated to work on, but you have all of these little whips in the meantime, you know what you say? You say, okay then, like today I have an hour to write. I am going to spend like a good 45 minutes writing out everything that I want to for my main story. But I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop at 45 minutes unless I'm really on a roll. And I'm going to then wrap up that thought. And then I'm going to jump on over to one of my whips and I'm going to do something for like 10-15 minutes. Make sure that you are budgeting your time and that you have said, I will do this and this today. This all comes down to goal setting. Give yourself small, simple goals to address all of your different works in progress. And you'll be surprised what you can actually do with only a little bit of time. If you structure your writing time, if you give yourself goals, small goals, to work on each project in turn, just a little bit, I guarantee you this, that within just a week, if you give yourself a couple of small goals each week to work on multiple stories, within 1 week, you will be able to do massive progress with all of the stories that you are writing for. I just recently did this over the course of 2 months to try this out myself. And over the course of 2 months, I worked on 4 books and completed 3 of them. Yes, it is possible. And that's not me spending hour after hour after hour of every single day working. No, that's like, okay then, a little bit of time for this story, and a little bit of time for this story, and a little bit of time for this story. And it went way faster than I thought. I got so much done. So, make sure that if you have multiple projects, if you don't want your works to just remain eternally in progress, in production hell as we like to call them, make sure that you are giving yourself small little goals each week to work on those works in progress, and you will get them done. I guarantee it. Here is the 4th problem that I've seen a lot of novice writers run into, and it is the embarrassment that they feel at sharing their stories. They have a story, they want to share it, but it's just so embarrassing. It's so cringeworthy. I'm not ready to share yet. Well, here's the thing. You're going to have to share. You're going to have to rip off that Band-Aid and you're going to have to share. And one of the best ways that you can actually do that is by not necessarily coming to someone and being like, here, I have a story. I need you to read this. But rather, instead, talk within your circle of friends and be like, hey, you know what? I'm working on a story. What do you think about that? Open up the conversation that way. Hey, let people know that you're writing and get their thoughts. People will definitely have thoughts on the fact that you're writing, and it will open up the door for you to share your story. The embarrassment's going to be there, but you want to know what? The person doesn't feel that embarrassment. If anything, the other person feels a lot of curiosity and they want to read your story. But even if you're scared about that is why Camille's Harem is here. We are here to help people share their stories because you need your stories. Your stories need you, and believe it or not, the world needs your stories. So if you feel like you just can't share a story with someone in your personal circle, boom, you've got us right here. Camille's Harem. Share your stories with us here. We would be happy to have a look at them, happy to share them in our own circles, so that way you can start getting feedback on your stories. And finally, we come to our fifth problem. When you feel discouraged. Here, this might seem like a bit of a reiteration of just losing motivation, but feeling discouraged is something else entirely. You can be fully motivated to tackle your story and write it beautifully, and yet you feel discouraged because you doubt yourself. You doubt the quality of your story. You doubt if people are going to be interested, or there's something within your story that just isn't working out. Discouragement takes all different kinds of form, but basically it all comes down to this feeling of something isn't working, and it's like a burr in your shoe. It's like a wrench in the machine that's just stopping everything. So how can you deal with that? The solution right here for this last problem is take a break. Now then, remember what I said, write every day, but sometimes take a break from your main story and start writing something else. Or take a much needed hour-long break. Go take an ice cream break. Go watch a movie. Go hang out with some friends. Go hang out with family. Take a break when you need it. A break is just a great way of restarting things, of giving yourself a chance to rest, of resetting your sights. Because oftentimes, and I've experienced this so many times, where there were chapters that I just felt were awful, and I took a break, and I came back, and I realized they're actually not that bad. This just recently happened to me when I was editing one of my books. I was like, I told even my dad, I was like, I am taking the axe and I'm getting to work on this book. I'm going to start just hacking into pieces because there's so many things that aren't working. I took a break. I then came back to the book after that break, and I then realized, no, actually a lot of these chapters are really good. Oh, there's certainly problems, but now I can see those problems for what they really are. It wasn't the whole chapter, but it was this one paragraph, or it was this mistake. I had made a mistake somewhere and I needed to fix that. And then boom, everything then flows a whole lot better. Sometimes the discouragement is coming because you're just too tired. Get some sleep. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're being healthy. A break is great for doing that. Don't take a break from writing. Don't just stop and say, I'm going to take a week off and rejuvenate, because then you're going to lose all the motivation. But you can still take a break while writing. Either take a break from your story, take a mental health break, take a break to hang out with family and friends, take a break to go out and enjoy yourself, take a break to take care of your own health. Taking a break is how you deal with discouragement, because you're basically breaking up that burr, you're breaking up that block, you're breaking up whatever it is that is causing your creative process to stall. So that's how I want you to think about taking a break, is that you're breaking that block by taking care of yourself. So those are the 5 common problems I've been seeing a lot of novice writers run into, and those are my 5 guaranteed solutions for how you can tackle these problems easily and continue to be an amazing author and do the things that you love to do. Because again, you need your stories need you, and the world most definitely needs your stories. So With all that being said, if you're looking for more writing advice, please check out our other videos here on our YouTube channel. You can also head on over to our podcast found on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, the works. We have writing exercises if you want to try them out over at our Pinterest page. And if you'd like to become a part of our community, please check out the links down below. You'll find us on Discord and on Reddit, and we would love to talk to you there. So links for all of that and more are in the description below. And thank you for joining us on this adventure that we call writing. And until the next video, y'all, tschüss.
I can write anything?
Yeah.
Done.
Is that all you want to see?